I'm Scott Davis, contract employee with Kentucky League of Cities and retired Paducah police officer. Remember, all our videos are reminders, refreshers, and things to think about to keep you safe. Also be sure and utilize klc.org. There's a lot of information there. Model policies, example forms, and videos to learn from. I hope you take something away from today's video. Let's talk about best practices for getting involved in an incident when you are off duty. There's a lot to think about. First of all, do you even need to get involved? Or should you just be a good witness? If you do get involved, do you have the tools you need? Badge, gun, vest, etc. Is the risk greater than the reward? If you get out and try to handle business, is there a greater chance you may get hurt than solve the situation at hand? We have all been off duty and seen something suspicious or witnessed a crime occur in front of us. Most of the time, it's not anything major, and we should probably just be a good witness and take as much mental notes as possible for the responding officers. You should only consider getting involved when deadly force would be justified. You have no legal or departmental obligation to get involved when you're off duty. I had a recruit one time, fresh out of the academy, get out with some suspicious people in a parking lot on his way to work. Mind you, he was in his Chevy truck at the time. He was out in the county far away from backup, and there were 3 men that he was out talking with. He was very lucky that those 3 men didn't want to test his abilities or his lack thereof. I had a lot of what-if questions for my recruit. So what is best practice if you're off duty and witness something minor? First, call dispatch. Let them know you're on scene, in plain clothes. In case things do escalate, you may describe what you're wearing. Tell them what you're driving. Tell them you're armed, and describe the incident for them to relay to officers. Remember, in minor crimes or suspicious activity, don't become part of the problem. Don't get involved unless things escalate and you have no other choice. I had a fellow officer tell me this story. He had witnessed a minor shoplifting off duty. He followed the suspect out of the store and confronted him. He told the suspect he was an officer, and the suspect ran. My buddy chased him, and after the suspect became tired, my buddy realized he had no way to detain the suspect because he didn't have cuffs. He decided to hold the suspect at gunpoint until the officers arrive. I tell that story in hopes that you may see that things don't always play out the way you think. And also be prepared if you're going to take action or don't get involved. In the 2 stories I told, both officers could have been a good witness, called dispatch, and kept an eye on the suspect until the officers arrived. I know our instinct is to act, but use your head and don't rush into anything. So now what if you are faced with a major incident? Armed suspect, active shooter, whatever it is, we have to become involved, or it could be a deadly situation. First, call 911 or direct someone to call. Give same info as before, same questions as earlier. Do you have the tools you need? Do you have identification or a badge? Are you carrying a weapon? If you answer no to these questions, I would seriously consider any further action. You stand a chance of getting yourself or others hurt or killed. If you answered yes, then here are a few things to consider. Let's use a scenario of an upset, angry, armed subject in Walmart. Don't jump into a bad situation unless things are critical. If you have to do something, remember speed, surprise, and violence of action. Don't get tunnel vision. This armed suspect may have a partner or an armed accomplice. Don't forget your tactics. Verbal and visual identification is essential. You may not be the only armed person in the store. Hero Harry may be in the next aisle and see you attacking or holding a gun on someone. The words coming out of your mouth should contain you're an officer and what department you're with. Loud verbal commands. Physical identification is a plus. Make sure any badge you have is out and plainly visible. You should have your green KLC off-duty armband. Have it on or in plain view for responding officers. We recommend having it on your wrist of your gun hand. As officers are responding, you might consider holstering your weapon. You may be asked to drop your weapon or to get on the ground. Identify yourself as law enforcement. In a loud voice, say, "Police, don't shoot, off-duty officer." Say this as you are complying with the officers. Never turn toward the on-duty officers if your gun is in your hand. Remember, you may be handcuffed. Put yourself in the responding officer's shoes. We all have the same goal in mind. Stop the threat and go home when it's over. Like I said earlier, don't become part of the problem.
Stop! Drop the gun!
Police, don't shoot, off-duty officer! In conclusion, look at the situation, weigh the risk, have the tools you need available, call dispatch letting them know you're an off-duty officer, loud verbal identification, loud verbal commands, keep your head on a swivel, have visible ID or your KLC green armband, and do what responding officers tell you. Thanks and stay safe.